Hey, this is Michael Janda. I'm here with Dot Lung. We're going to talk about how to become niche famous.
There are riches in the niches and there are riches in the niches, they say. I guess it depends
yes,
if
riches
you
in the
speak.
niches.
I guess it depends if you speak American or if you speak British English.
That's right.
I think it's really awesome to get known in a certain industry. This is a really, faster way to get new business and get known in a certain industry. For example, I have become known as the Instagram launcher for design festivals and creative businesses. So people that are in the creative industry actually come to me to help them launch their Instagram accounts. But I could perfectly do this if I was, in the sushi restaurant industry, because I love sushi. So I wouldn't mind niching down to maybe launching Instagram accounts for sushi restaurants or sushi chefs. But the more that you niche down and you have like a specific specialty in what you do, the easier you'll actually be able to get business and get known for doing that special trade or that the special niche type of service you offer.
Yeah, totally agree. There's riches in the niches. I love that. Or doesn't work if you say riches in the niches. So you got to go all in American style talking niches to say there's riches in the niches. I love it. So becoming niche famous, I love that phrase too. You sent that when we were collaborating about what are we going to talk about, and being niche famous. What you can do is you've got to think, okay, I've got to make the pond small enough so that I can be the big fish in this pond. And how do I construct a pond that can be that small? And then I go for a bigger pond later. So let me give you an example. You niche down and you start by saying, okay, I live in a small town in Kentucky in the United States. And maybe to start, you just should try to become the number one designer in this small town. You've made this pond small enough that you can completely become niche famous in this little pond. And once you accomplish that, then start thinking, okay, I've got to break out and try to break out into maybe my whole state and become one of the niche famous designers in my state. And then you start to expand and say, okay, I've conquered that. Now people know me in the state. I have a reputation there. Now I'm going to try and build into the region or the country or the world. And you try and just make this pond small enough so that you can be famous in this little pond. And I think that there's value in that. There's riches in the niches of when you have that position, people come to you. You don't have to sell anymore. You don't have to go to all the events because you already have this reputation. They know you because you're niche famous. And so you've got to work on building your community, building your audience, sponsoring things inside of the pond that you're working, winning awards inside the pond that you're working, doing everything you can to try and build exposure for your business inside this first pond that you're trying to own. And then you expand from there. And I think when you sent me this thing on being niche famous, those were some of the thoughts that I had.
Absolutely. Because if you target everybody, you're actually targeting nobody. Or if you speak to everyone, you're not speaking to anyone. So Seth Godin has a famous phrase called the SVA, or your smallest viable audience.
Yeah.
And that's basically where he says you actually don't need like more than 250 people to actually target. So even on Instagram, if you get 250 likes on a post, that's awesome. You don't need more than 250 people to be engaging and interacting with you. So if you can really focus on serving these 250 people, that's how you can actually grow from there. But first, concentrate on the first pleasing and servicing the first 250 or your smallest viable audience.
Yeah.